Hello, Editor Troy here. Before you start this one, I just want to say that we're going to do this as the video podcast thing, because usually we just record the podcast in a video format and just submit it, but we did the correct actual sound files this time. So, some point after this one goes out, we'll try to put an actual podcast out on actual podcast platforms. I'll try to get some information out there. I guess I'll probably tweet that or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But this one is us actually talking about games. It should be titled number 1. There should also be a second episode. Or if Glenn beats me in the editing race of the first episode that's already released. Time is a construct, so y'all, enjoy.
Hi guys, welcome to the Crispy Gamers Podcast, otherwise known as the Comfy Gamers Podcast. I just woke up because I forgot we were going to be doing an episode at 10 o'clock, and it's now 11 o'clock.
The one time I actually get up before fucking 10 a.m., he's not up. It's fucking madness.
I know, I'm sure he's downed roughly 6 gallons of Diet Dr. Pepper at this point in order to try to exist. I mean, look at him, he has a 12-pack in the back of it. He's drinking one right fucking now. God damn it, this son of a bitch.
There is no escape.
This barbecue water. God. But, okay, how you doing, Troy?
So, I'm chilling on spring break right now. I guess
did you
update
did you mention this is a eternal spring break we're currently in? Because our spring break never technically ended. We are going to be in an eternal spring break.
I'm still on the spring break that started a year ago. This is the 1-year anniversary of spring break, just to make that clear. But to update the audience, the whole idea that we'll do episode 1 when we move in together, that's no longer happening.
Well, hypothetically, it still can happen, just not for a hot minute.
So, this is now episode 1. We've just decided we're going to pull production out of our ass and attempt to make something that fucking works.
Yeah, because initially the episodes were meant to be let's test run it, let's test the format and all that and figure it out. And, how do you want to best explain the apartment saga, Troy?
I don't. I don't think we need to. I don't think it's really that important.
You don't want to go over Eula's apartments?
Okay, well, we'll give them just Eula's in apartments, and that'll be it.
Okay, so me and Troy were running around, going to all these different apartments, hearing these guys' pitches. Some of them were pretty nice, some of them weren't. But there was one place we found while we were driving to another set of apartments.
So
that was okay.
We walked out of one apartment complex, and you just got to see, we came out, we took one turn, and to our right, we see this sign that says, $160 a week rent.
And then a phone number.
Wait, what? Because, of course, every other apartment in existence does their rent monthly, because that's how bills cycle, that's how that works.
And, keeping
We look a little closer, and it's not named whatever complex or whatever. It's named Eula's Inn Apartments. This is a motel that has this sign taped to the side of it.
And me and Troy look at each other and say, now, hypothetically, if we were to at least get a quote from this man for this, what is essentially a breeding ground for bed bugs and STDs, what would it be, and hypothetically, how much content could we milk from it?
So, of course, we drive up. It really is just a motel. There are 2 buildings in total, and they barely have parking.
Yes. And as we look around at the various cars, we have, one oddly nice Camaro, and then everything else looks like it rolled out of Stranger Things.
It's not Stranger Things. It's the background cars in a high school movie. The ones that they don't want you to see that have 2 tires missing and the hood open.
The junk cars that are there just to fill the set.
And so we then walk in, and of course, what you expect a leasing office should be. It's a lady or whatever sitting there behind a desk who has their floor plans and everything else.
He probably
find
like
an
another
Indian
side
man that looks like he's in a convenience store because he has like the full like shatterproof glass with the one thing you can pass papers through. He is not trusting anyone
looks like
today.
You're at, like either the bank or fucking like a 7-Eleven.
The rent has a little slip where you'd slip it in like it was a bank or a library. Like it's
Oh, gotta get this in before it's due. Don't want to get my library card revoked. Oh no.
But before we continue going on, because that's most of it. Like,
Well,
we're just kind of laughing at one another.
We walked in and immediately we're like, "Hey, so what are your floor plans? What are your prices? Give us a general idea." And he pointed down like we were at Waffle House, and like taped and laminated to the counter, to this like shitty, sad granite counter, which was a wolf about the entire building combined. We saw this piece of paper that showed 1-bedroom floor plan and another 1-bedroom floor plan, and we're like, oh, so automatically this is out of our range for any legitimate use. But
and one last bit.
Yes.
I remember him stating that we asked about lease period. He said, "There's nothing available yet, but lots of people come in and sign a lease for whenever someone leaves, because lots of people will just abandon their lease without warning."
Yeah, like, wow, you set up a whole, like, plan to only have people lease week to week, and you're surprised that people just disappear into thin air? Like, that's the whole reason why you do things for, like, a month, 3 months, set up a contract for a year, so you know people aren't just gonna get up and leave.
But, that being said, the goal of this episode was that since we're not doing that, we might as well do episode 1. Episode 1, the joke was supposed to be, done a bunch of episodes that aren't about gaming, when we have game in the name of the fucking podcast.
And so now that the moving in, making content, being a content house plan has gone, well, eventually, but not anytime soon, motherfucker. We're like, okay, allow us to just generate the video game. So, Troy, would you like to bring this first topic to the table?
So, if I can think the first of them,
I know there was something specific you wanted to talk about.
So I made a little like set of bullet points, like what we could do, but let's spit out the first one that I can think of. What's the first game you can remember playing?
Well, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga on the Wii. On the Nintendo
Classic.
Wii. And of course when I got the Xbox, I got all of my Lego games for my Xbox 360. And also I got one game that I became obsessed with called Section 8. Have you ever heard of Section 8, Troy?
No, I haven't.
So, Section 8 was a game, and it released, I want to say roughly in the same time that, like, the remake of Combat Evolved did. Because I got both of those games simultaneously. You want to know which one I was obsessed with?
The one that wasn't Combat Evolved?
The one that wasn't Combat Evolved. I have never completed Combat Evolved. And you get this game, and you're going through it, and the story is like, you're like a Marine dude, you're shooting the things, you're shooting other slightly different colored armored Marine dudes, because I want you to imagine Titanfall and Anthem squished. And also a little bit of Destiny sprinkled in.
What I'm just hearing
that was Section 8.
Ball shot twice with the blandness gun.
Well, it had its own art style. It looked nice. It, like, the final boss at the end confused the shit out of 8-year-old me, but that's because it actually forced you to use grenades, and I had never used grenades up to that point. I just clicked and shoot things.
So, the first game I can remember playing was that when I was the absolute baby, something like 5 or 6, whatever the fuck, I got a DS.
Okay.
The one game I can remember getting on that DS was Metroid. I have no idea which Metroid it was. All I can remember is that the first thing that happened was I tried to put it in and I fucking dropped the DS and it fucking flattened out. And they were real worried about it for like an hour or so, but then it managed to work again. I have no memories of playing that game. I had to have gotten through like maybe a level.
So
The game that I can remember playing when I was very young is the piece of shovelware known as Shark Tale for the GameCube.
when you say Shark Tale, are you talking about Will Smith fish?
Yes. Yes, I am. It had a full connected game. I remember a rhythm game section, and I have no clue if that's like most of the game, or that was a weird mini game, and I'm not sure which is worse.
So I found the game that you can't think of, and it's called Metroid Prime Hunters.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm looking at this game. It's got 4.1 stars on GameStop.com, and it's $15.
GameStop.com.
GameStop.com. But yeah, going off of that, what was some guilty pleasure games that you've enjoyed between just general instances of your life? Like games you know are bad, like Section 8. But for some reason, you still love the shit out of them.
So, there is one specific game that I have a brutally large amount of Steam hours in. And I'm not entirely sure why I do. So I have, I think, 150 hours in a game called Riders of Icarus. Remember that one?
I don't. Is Riders of Icarus like a Kid Icarus clone?
No. Okay, so Nexon, the Korean MMO maker, released
fucking
the game that was pretty much just the idea of imagine World of Warcraft. But instead of a variety of classes and whatever else, we just gave you 3 and you can just tame everything. Look in front of you. The bosses, you can tame literally every single one of them.
So
Enemies, you can tame most of them. Mounted flying combat, fuck it.
So, Pokemon WoW.
Yes.
This sounds like there's a reason why you became addicted to it.
It's a pretty interesting concept, but it's still like Korean MMO. It's just there's just nothing. You just kind of go up, go up. At least in WoW, they attempt to mix things up and give quest variety. It's a Nexon game, man.
It's
go place, do things, slap another thing, keep going.
I'm surprised you didn't play that Korean game for what is normally associated with those Korean MMOs, especially being a small Troy teenager.
I was a child, okay?
You didn't enjoy
I was in a gaming clan.
You were in a gaming clan. Were you in a gaming Discord as well?
The gaming clan on a Discord, but nobody in that motherfucker played any goddamn games.
God. But okay, what else?
What else was there? What is the most recent game you played?
So the most recent game that I've played would have to go to either Terraria or Destiny 2.
It's been long enough, you're not sure?
Yeah, so listeners, if I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the last episode, which was filmed almost a fucking year ago now.
No, the last episode was filmed 6 months or something ago.
Half a year ago. So at that time, I was kicking around the idea, I hadn't sure if I'd started yet, of working 2 simultaneous jobs. And you're probably thinking, oh, that happens. Some people need that for the extra income and all that. But the 2 jobs that I had was a host at what's called Sad Hop and a stalker at Wallywold. And between the 2 of these positions, I worked close to 70, 75 hours a week. So if you're wondering, hey, what happened to these episodes? What happened? It's called, without realizing it, I obliterated any and all of my free time.
Because the issue here is that one of us has to edit the episode.
Yeah.
And if anyone's familiar with the 60-hour rule they introduced you to at college, where if you if commute plus work plus school is over 60 hours, a high chance you'll burn out. But that means that for most people, you've got about 60 hours of exclusively work time you can keep up with in a given week and be fine.
Yeah.
You go more than others. But I was doing a full-time school, which is 40 hours, or at least it should be, according to the 60 hours, and then 20 hours of a job. So I was at a full 60 hours. But he was working 40 hours of a job, and then 30 hours of a job.
And the 30 hours of a job was paying me close to minimum wage. So I was getting like $170 a week for the sad job, and then like a little under $1,000 for the job.
But that can work if you can, you carve out an hour or so, for your free time. But you still have free time in most of the situations. The issue is someone had to edit the fucking podcast.
Someone had to edit this goddamn podcast because of the reasons that we had talked about in the previous episode. And so I'm like, damn, I'll get to it eventually. And then 2 weeks went by, and I'm like, fuck, I can't get to this. So I'm like, Troy, do you want to, like, take this? And he's like, no, I'm going to edit it in reverse order. Die.
I was so excited to take that episode, cut it into a bunch of little bits, and put it in the absolutely worst way to do it. The issue is I found out my editing program doesn't actually split out, like, cuts and clips. It still keeps whatever, like, video clips you imported together, even if you added little cuts in them. So I can't fucking move the little breadcrumbs around.
God. And so a couple weeks went by after that, and I'm like, Troy, I reasonably can't edit this podcast and get it out even late. I'll just fling it at you, and you get it done in like a week, and then upload it. And he's like, okay. And then 2 months passed.
Then he was like, you should edit this. I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. And then I just did. And then I didn't upload it.
And then, like, 2 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, Troy, did you ever, like, finish editing that episode? And he's like, oh. And then
I did say what my, like, most recent game I've played is.
If you want to return to the topic, yeah.
By pure time, Clash of Clans.
Now, why you owned a 12-year-old boy? So I'm really listening for why Clash of Clans
is that unless it's like Candy Crush, where it's literally just a slot machine taking advantage of old people. Most app games they end up being built like a somewhat pay-to-win MMO. This is just as true of Clash of Clans.
Okay.
Because all of these games, they have a certain point where you've just won. There's only so much content they can put in the game. So even if you shove every single bit of money into the game, there is a ceiling. But free-to-play players could hypothetically reach that ceiling. So the common point of balance is that you take whatever level you are pushing up the ceiling, and you always fight the people that are across from you. So we have guy that's played for 3 straight years and hasn't spent anything, and guy that's paid for 3 months and has borrowed his mom's credit card. We have guy that's played since the release of the game and has spent $10, and guy that has dropped his entire rent for 2 straight months.
Now,
or more reasonably, we have 2 years and $20 versus 1 year and $50.
So what I'm hearing is you dropped your
on a roughly even playing field.
So what I'm hearing is you've dropped your entire month's rent on multiple occasions on this video game, so that way you could have the best Clasher, the best Wizard and Hunter, and the Hero Dragon. So you could most effectively throw sand in the eyes.
And I was like, no, I must spend money. The most money I've spent on an app game is fucking Marvel Contest of Champions. Ooh, it was not a good idea. Even that one, the total money I've spent is $50. And that one I played for 2 fucking years. That one was when I created the rule that, like, grinding is okay in a game, but if I'm grinding, I have to enjoy the process of grinding. If the activity I'm doing repetitively isn't enjoyable, I will stop doing it. Even if there's something I'll enjoy later, I will stop doing it. And that rule killed Destiny 2.
I was about to say, is that why you don't play Destiny 2 anymore?
Yeah. But the thing about Clash of Clans is, why I'm still playing it now, is that there's a good social element. I have a couple friends that are like, yeah, I hope we can get again, whatever, you know? And so we have a little clan. We do a little clan wars. I can get on. I can be like, "Hi, feed me a couple more dragons so I can kill this man." Okay. And then I'm like, we put one here, we put one here, and then we put all the dragons in the middle, and they go in the base.
But yet you won't go, yes, let's go kill Sepix Prime on the brand new Strike, or the Fallen Sable on the brand new Strike in Destiny 2, in order to get the shiny new gun.
Whoa. Pulse Rifle 387. It deals 5 more damage if I use the right perk that they added. And it still doesn't have Outlaw, so it still has a reload cycle that takes forever. I can't wait to die to another Vandal.
For those that don't know Destiny 2, Outlaw is a perk in Destiny 2 that whenever you kill an enemy with a headshot, it more than triples your reload speed, making you inherently an outlaw for shooting things in the head.
And that's just one way to do it, I guess. But like, the main idea is that one problem Destiny had that I didn't really care about, but from a design standpoint is really bad, is that there was only one role you ever wanted on like 85% of guns, and it was the perk Outlaw that I just described, and the perk Rampage that just increases damage for every kill.
So yeah, you get 1 kill, you get like 5% more damage. You get 2 kills, you got like 15% more damage. You get 3 kills, you get like, I don't know, 20% more damage. And then, like, there's other variations, like Swashbuckler, which is Rampage. But if you kill something for punch, you immediately get 5 stacks. So, in this video game that's supposed to be all about, like, diversity of guns and, like, all of these dozens of perks, the only thing you ever want is make gun reload good and make gun shoot more bullet.
Yeah, it's that easy.
Which, thinking about it, makes a lot of sense. But it doesn't exactly promote a good, what do you call it, game state?
It's there's no like official term for that. They're gonna call it
the
game.
meta.
The TWAB calls it.
The TWAB.
A full life improvements here. I've removed my Windows key.
Wait, what? Why?
What good does it serve? What do you use the Windows key for?
You press the Windows key to bring up the Windows, like, the thing. Like,
what do you use the Windows thing for?
Well, from the Windows thing, I can tell you right now, I can open Discord, I can open Skype, I can open Calculator, Word, Paint, OBS.
Yeah, so you use the search bar that is in the bottom of my screen, that as soon as I type a key, it immediately goes to.
Well, you see, what I've done to my computer is I have ripped that search bar out because I found it incredibly inaccurate. And instead I have downloaded something called Classic Shell. Now, what Classic Shell is, Troy, is, you know the start menu that normally pops up with Windows 10, where it's like all of these like bricks that looks like they came out of Windows 8 because they did? Well, what that does is it takes it and chucks it into the forehead of Bill Gates, and it pries out Windows 7's start menu from the depths of hell and slams it onto Windows 10. So I basically have Windows 7 start menu on Windows 10, so it's like all nicely lined up, and it's like I got the little search programs and files at the bottom that, you know, is accurate, and you don't type something and it brings up fucking settings for the 600th time, Troy.
All I search for is settings in there. It's not Google, it's the fucking bar at the bottom of my computer.
And you know what Classic Shell has? 6 different versions of the settings to get you to specifically what you need. You got control panel, PC settings, devices, default programs, help and support, and just run. You know what that is? Helpful.
All I ever use is control panel. That's the whole point of control panel.
And you know what?
If you need something outside of control panel, something has gone very wrong.
Or you're trying to set up a Bluetooth device, or like a background, or like you're trying to do something fancy.
This bitch doesn't even support Bluetooth.
Are you telling me you haven't spent $8 on Amazon to buy a Bluetooth receiver for your PC so you can effectively use a tiny keyboard?
Yeah, you put a wire on the tiny keyboard. The fuck do I need a Bluetooth receiver for?
Because at that point, you get to lay in your bed and be cozy, and then game.
I want to be cozy. I just lay in my bed and lay there.
Are you telling me you don't want to effectively game and cozy?
they're counterintuitive.
No, they're not counterintuitive.
If I really want to sleep while game, I just commit PewDiePie chair.
No. Because PewDiePie chair, while it may be technically efficient, you don't have the same, like, cocoon of comfort around you. Yes, I see that you can do this, Troy. You don't have the same cocoon.
The blanket I used for this is still in my car from the winter storm.
Yes, when Texas became Antarctica for, like, 2 weeks for no goddamn reason, yes.
I drove to work in that.
I did too. And then my power went out for like 3 days, and then I never told you this story. So when the power went out, my house like flickered as well, and then it went out for a solid like day and a half. And past like the first day and a half, my uncle was like, "Hey, why are y'all like freezing your asses off?" And then he drove by, picked us up, and then drove us out to McKinney. And he's like, "Hey Glenn, you can go upstairs and like I have like a gaming room and like a theater room," because just to mention it, my uncle is a Sad Hob district manager. So this man has money flowing out of his ass. So I'm like, okay, let's walk up there. So in the theater room, he's got like one of those big long L couches, little coffee table, 2 full arcade cabinets hooked up with Raspberry Pis, one in NES one in SNES one. Then I look at the other wall, you've got this TV that's the size of fucking Hawaii. And then like 36 different boxes that you go in, and then he's like, I have every service. I have Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO, Netflix, fucking Voodoo, everything under the sun exists here.
The one man that has Fubo.
Yes, it probably would be. There's like there was a little mini fridge with 1 beer in it. Just one. And then I leave there and I walk into what is his quote-unquote professional office. And this place is covered head to toe in Legos, in action figures, in all of this shit. And I'm like, huh, even Sad Hop people at least can enjoy the Lego bonsai tree. The Lego Ultimate Collector Series Batmobile. Yes, Troy?
It's just, my mom is obsessed with Legos. Like, she does not play any games, but she has 100%ed like 4 of Lego games. And
So-
she owns too many Legos.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a link to the video that I took of this room. And I'm going to go ahead and send it to you. Let's see here. So we're going to cut real quick so that way I can do this. So that way I don't expose RDMs because I'm just recording the Discord stream.
Discord stream.
Discord stream. So just let me know when you've got that back up.
New videos.
Yes. And then
I'll clap back in.
Then also I'll go ahead and show you the fucking wall of BO tabs he has. I hate how Google Photos works, but it just works. But okay.
It just works.
Yeah. Stunning shows. Little lies. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the coziest
Send me the thing.
Gamers
I'm gonna open the
podcast.
thing.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and open the thing, and we'll edit in the video in the afterwards. So,
That is a lot of stuff. Yeah, this looks like a home. I just looking at the whole shelf of like decorations and stuff, and then the come and take it photo frame.
well, yeah, of course. What do you expect?
Big TV, loud fan, mini frig, chair.
Yeah, and he's
What is this? It's popcorn. He's got 3 couches and then 2. Why are they Pac-Man? Yeah, that's what I expected. Yeah.
And then, like, there's, like, 6 fish tanks in his house.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got space, money, and nothing to do with it.
And, like, both on the wall in his fish tank room, not hooked up into anything, he has a bunch of biotaps. And then outside in his garage, he has legitimate biotaps.
Of course. Yeah.
And I was just looking around that man's house. I realized, wow, the definition of once you have enough money, you kind of just don't give a shit anymore. Because then we were like, hey, so what are we going to eat? And he's like, wow, we're out of Easy Mac. We're out of ramen. And I'm like, this motherfucker is able to afford, like, all of this bullshit, keep up with a shrimp tank, and yet he doesn't have a supply of Easy Mac.
Well, yeah. I understand the idea of it, but, like, I just got lucky during the whole storm, and my family installed solar, so I just sat there going, I know that multiple people in this area are having issues. Like, I had a friend that I had over for the night for a couple nights because he was having the big issues, but
makes sense.
Otherwise, I just kind of existed. Just kind of went, wow, I can't go anywhere. I already couldn't go anywhere because of a pandemic, but now I can't go anywhere because cold.
Because we're currently losing our game of Plague Inc. You know, gotta hit you with that 2013 Zoomer reference.
No, it blew up when the actual pandemic went off. Like,
Wait,
it's not.
It did blow up again?
Yeah. There was a whole fucking category of speedrunning the fucking coronavirus through Plague Inc. That was a whole thing.
Oh my god.
But now there's an easy segue back to gaming and what's supposed to be the gaming episode. Gamers gaming.
Gamers rise up in the gaming episode of the most cozy Gamers podcast.
So, what is the most? What is your like designated relaxing game?
So that used to be Minecraft, but I don't have any fucking time to play Minecraft. And also because of all Boys in Green, the fucking Dream Boys, and the Minecraft YouTubers, anytime you say, "Oh, I want to play Minecraft," everyone's just like, we want to start an SMP, want to generate content by doing our own.
You want to start an SMP, though. They all want to start an SMP.
Everyone wants to start an SMP, because if you do an SMP and you have, like, an ounce of storytelling, that's just gonna explode Twitter.
Maybe. It's not my issue, but... So, yeah, I get the Minecraft point. I remember the one server we were on where you just, like, found an elytra. You got an elytra, you beat the Ender Dragon, you did all of that stuff, we just weren't even there. We just came back on, us with our fucking iron tools, like, let's play some Minecraft, and then fucking he's up here above us all like, welcome back, peasants.
So
enjoy the world I have created for you.
And they're like, wow, is that a fisherman's hut? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I just played for solid, like, 12 hours that night, and I just didn't sleep. And I just said, oh yes, I've completed my little quartz house. I've completed my bunker underneath, which everyone broke into because they're assholes. I completed my secondary bunker that was hidden underneath a castle that was like a different group's entire, like, fucking, what was that, clan? Whatever the fuck they were doing with that castle.
It was just a different group of friends that didn't want to have to be around the other group of friends that were on the server, okay?
Yeah, no, and then I built a far fancier bunker underneath that place, and then when I Discord streamed once, fucking, Crow, triangulated my position and broke into my secondary bunker like an asshole.
To be fair, you had all the good loot. Like,
I had all the good loot because I played.
Yeah.
And like yes, when you play the video game, you get the loot that people want.
Oh yeah. For me, the designated relaxing game is of course Bloons Tower Defense.
This motherfucker.
Which we've referred to before this as exclusively just funny monkey game.
Yeah, it's funny monkey game.
I added a new hero, by the way. She can clear an entire map by herself.
Now, do you want to explain to these people the Excel spreadsheet that you use to efficiently play the video game for 7-year-olds?
I don't use a spreadsheet for funny monkey game. I just go, I think this tower work. Do I cover this type of balloon? Do I do enough damage? The spreadsheets were for GTA. That's a whole different thing, okay?
Oh, God.
That was profit. And then their like cheat detection is terrible, so I'm still being hunted by a single hacker in GTA.
That's still happening?
I opened it like a month ago, got booted out of the game, went, wow, that man's just determined, and then uninstalled GTA.
So, is it a specific time you always get on to know he's on, or is it like an automated banning system he has set up at this point?
I think it's just like a guy with no job where that's what he does. He just has a list of people that have said something even slightly annoying to him.
What did you
he just repeatedly checked.
What did you do to this guy?
He's selling
did you
$1
kill
cash
this man?
drops. He'll drop you $1 million in game for $1. And I just said, wow, that's kind of like selling bottled water. And then from that point forward, he just repeatedly booted me from the video game. It wasn't even an insulting statement. It was just an observation.
You called this man millions of dollars bottled water.
He's a bottled water salesman. He takes the thing you can get for free, he bottles it and tries to sell it again. I can respect the hustle, but like...
But come on.
Man took it way too serious.
He's undercutting the official dollar shark cards.
Not even shark cards. They're just people that give you hacked-in money much cheaper.
I mean,
the only like realistic solution is that a friend of mine has another friend that also cheats, who can set the server to where no one can join it. And if he can't join, then he can't spawn in stuff to crash my game.
The private public server.
Yes. So the only way I could then play the game was to find another hacker to protect me from the first hacker.
Did you get $1 million cash drops from him too, Troy?
No. Well, there's no point in that.
Did he not give you the fancy car, the fucking vigilante, the...
I already own most of the fancy cars. I have a submarine that shoots missiles. And has a jet boost.
So a submarine.
No, it's still a car.
Oh,
it just hits the water and then you can turn it into a
the
submarine.
James Bond submarine car, I forgot.
No, that's the older submarine car.
Wait,
this
what? There's a new submarine car?
Yeah, it's like a Ferrari submarine car this time. Got a little sloped look and everything.
The day that GTA 6 comes out, and people realize that they have spent their life savings on this video game, where the company could not give less of a fuck about them because they passed the point where they just made exclusively profit like 6 years ago, is the day.
I mean, Rockstar Games is the new Valve. They haven't had to make a new game in like a decade.
I mean,
they made Red Dead.
Even Valve claimed they were working on Half-Life 3. Not Alex, but 3. They were doing it.
Alex is enough. Like, let's be honest.
Well, here's the thing. Alex is still a prequel. We still got that whole, like... So I've never played Half-Life. I'm just talking not exclusively what angry games journalists are talking. Okay,
like,
good. We're both talking.
I have a VR headset to play Alex. I just didn't want to spend $40.
And you didn't go to G2A.com and purchase Alex for 6 cents?
It's still a full-price AAA game. It's still going to be $40 on G2A.
Are you sure?
It hasn't gone on sale.
Have you checked?
I can fucking... Let me check this motherfucker. It's still going to be 40 because most of the ways that you get access to prices that low is that it hits like a major Steam sale, and then the code is going to be like a little over that.
You're fucking wrong. It's $14 to purchase Half-Life Alex off G2A.com.
Excuse me? I swear it's going to be a fucking Russian copy, and you're about to have debated me. Random key. What? Yeah, you can just get it for $15. Gray market's living life. I guess I should buy Half-Life Alex. Fuck it.
Play Half-Life.
Boneworks $15? Come on.
I mean, I'm sure you can look it up.
I probably can, but I shouldn't. I'm reporting a fucking podcast.
This is all This is all irony. This is all sarcasm. This is fuck. What? I can't remember the tome. Fuck.
I mean, it's a gray market. It's
Yeah.
that, it's still legal to make these transactions. There's just the chance these transactions could have been made.
Boneworks is $34 on G2A.com.
The big rough.
Yes. So you cannot purchase the video game that is actually revolutionizing VR gameplay, but you can purchase the one that Valve said revolutionized VR gameplay.
I mean, it does do the same stuff. It's just the Boneworks did it first,
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Indeed. But, alright. Continuing on. What is another
list of stuff that one speak to is...
Because, by the way, listeners, at this point, I would have flung us headfirst into what is called the weekly golf date. But this man banned me from using the weekly golf date on this episode because he said, no,
we put game in the name of the podcast, and we speak very little about game. We've talked more about the stupid man that went to Canada and made the Garfield restaurant than we have about any video game we've ever played.
And isn't that how life should be, Troy? Talking about...
Let's see. What was the last time you pulled an all-nighter, gaming or otherwise?
Now, when you say all-nighter, let's define that real quick. Are you saying that as in taking the entire night or just staying up multiple hours late?
I'd say more than 2 hours past the usual time period. Because, like, if you're supposed to go to bed at midnight and you usually stay up till 1:30, this definition of an all-nighter is 3:30 or later.
Okay. So... the last time I had done this was quite a while ago, to be honest with you. If you remember it, in Destiny 2, there are things called raids. And these raids are a group of 6 people go into a difficult piece of content that includes puzzles, combat, things of that nature, to get some of the best loot, weapons, and armor in the video game. And there was one raid that was called Spire of Stars. Do you remember this, Troy?
Did you make an all-nighter trying to beat Spire of Stars?
You were there. So we were up until roughly 4 in the morning attempting to beat Spire of Stars because for some reason the boss kept bugging out, and whenever we attempted to, because the way this boss worked was, it was like a half circle and the guy was in the middle. He was on like a little elevated platform. There's a couple steps up to it, like a step.
Keep in mind, I have completed Spire of Stars repeatedly. This description is only for the audience.
I know. I'm doing it for the audience.
Just making that clear.
And so there's 6 people, 2 people on the left and right, 2 people in the middle. So what you gotta do is they gotta fight people off, and then you gotta stand on these plates on the ground. And when they stand on the plates on the ground, it spawns a ball. And when the ball spawns, one guy's gotta run over, grab the ball. Then the other guy's gotta cycle some more enemies, and then they get the ball. And then the other guys jump on the plates, again, at the specific time that they're supposed to. Otherwise, you all die and have to restart the entire thing. Then they jump on the plates, and then this, like, plinth of, like, orangish yellow energy shoots out of the plate next to the boss up into the sky. And the guy with the ball is supposed to hop in the thing, go zoop, and then throw the ball at a spaceship, and it goes poof. And then you get to shoot the boss a little bit, and you move on. And you do that, like, 3 times, and then he's fucking dead. Well, when the guy would go whoop, they just fucking die halfway up.
Oh yeah, that one. That one still happens. They never fixed that.
They removed it from the video game. That's how they fixed it. They just removed the entire raid from the video game.
Yeah, that's still the stupidest thing. But when I actually first did Spire of Stars, I was like actually playing actively around when it released, and so like a week after release we tried it. But I had to go for like maybe it was like a summer camp or something the next day. So I couldn't stay up, and so we just didn't have the DPS for it. We just abandoned it. What was the last like all-nighter I actually pulled?
I mean, speaking of Destiny raids, I am planning on reassembling y'all assholes to do Vault of Glass when it re-releases in Destiny 2. I'm going to tear you away from Clash of Clans and balloons in order to make you experience this great piece of content.
You see, Clash of Clans and Balloons aren't like priority games. There's just no one's playing anything else games, okay? I mean, at this point, Destiny has fallen off a list of games I feel like playing. because I just don't.
But are you telling
It's
me
not worth it.
that shiny new raid is not going to entice you even a little bit?
I might play it once, but I'm
Yeah,
really not
play
in
it
the mood
once.
to do 5 hours of strikes and story missions to blow my brains out so I can play 2 hours of fun raid.
Are you telling me you aren't interested in Eris and Driftle arguing with each other again?
And it doing nothing for the plot?
I mean, it's doing something for the plot. It's letting fanfic artists have something to base their fanfictions off of.
I am edgy. I am also edgy. Edgy, edgy, edgy. Edgy, edgy. Edgy.
Edgy the hedgy edgy. And then you have Zavala walking in and going, indeed.
I don't stay up, like, super late very often, so I think the last time... Actually, if given the definition I set forward, the last all-nighter I did from this definition would be that I stayed up playing fucking fucking Cold War zombies.
Now you see, I have not played a Call of Duty game since a game called Advanced Warfare. And the reason why...
I only own 3 Call of Duty games.
Okay.
Call of Duty World at War. Because a couple of friends were like, come play Zambi. And I was like, okay. And then I played 2 games of zombies and then I stopped.
Okay.
I own Black Ops 3 because somebody bought it for me and then said, come play Zambi. And I was like, whatever. And then I finished an Easter egg or 2 went, this is interesting, I guess.
Oh.
And then I just bought Cold War and said, fuck it, I'll try this out. So there was the, like, open world zombies thing. So on the front, you're like, oh, it's like a horde mode, right? Right? But in general, some of the maps that have zombies do brutally annoying and complicated stuff. For example, on one of the maps, there's like a series of, for those I guess that would know that I'm about to describe Black Ops 3's Eisendrache map, which is a little castle. So on the castle, you can get a weapon you can get a bow. The bow goes kaboom, it's like an explodey bow, you know?
Okay.
But to get there, you have to walk around the map until you find little dragon heads. You shoot a zombie in front of them, the dragon head wakes up. And then if you shoot enough zombies, the dragon head eats the zombies until it crumbles. And then it shows up somewhere else. This is a little lit up somewhere else. Once you get 3 of the dragon heads done, you can grab a bow. But once you have that bow, there are then 4 separate quests you can do to make that bow a little bit stronger and do other stuff.
What I'm hearing
One
is
that
a
I had
Destiny
to
2
do.
quest. But continue.
But instead of doing it over 2 weeks and having to grind a certain amount of kills, you have to do it in that game of zombies.
So, hypothetically, what you are asking for out of Destiny 2, because you like zombies, from what I can tell, is you want them to create quests that are built into a strike that you have to complete in that strike, otherwise you fucking die.
No, because there's a different environment there. In zombies, there's actually a metagame of like selecting your weapons and working through them and leveling up like how you fight things, you know?
Are you telling me that the different flavor of Outlaw Rampage that week that's available is not an effective method of making the gamer make choices?
I'm not ready for this strike or whatever it is, because I didn't get the right one. It looked like this season, the meta indicator says I should have gotten this pulse rifle instead.
I should have gotten the flawless competitive pulse rifle that is only available, like, once a week, if you can play the competitive mode. Which, by the way, do you know...
Only available once a week. It's only available pain.
Do you know what happened with Trials a couple weeks ago?
Didn't they just delete it?
No. So, okay. Quick explanation for those who don't understand what we're talking about. Trials of Osiris is a competitive PvP game mode in Destiny 2, where 2 groups of 3 players fight to the death, and it was essentially a team deathmatch kind of thing. But the restriction is whenever you die, you have to be revived by one of your teammates, and you only have a total of 3 revives in the total pool. So once you go through all of these lives, you all die simultaneously, the round is over, it's best out of 5, and then after that you get a win. And the way Trials is built is you have a scorecard. Now the scorecard, if you
Can I interject here for just a second?
Go ahead.
So Trials of Osiris is also a competitive PvP game mode in an MMO FPS.
Yes.
So to parse all those letters out for you, we have the MMO portion, which is massively multiplayer online, meaning that there's a world that a lot of people can exist in at the same time.
Yes.
For most things, the maximum is like 50 or 100-ish, but there are a lot of people that could enter that world. There's FPS, first-person shooter, the game where people pick up a gun and click somebody else in the head.
Yeah.
So, this is a game where in order to play the interesting game modes, you have to play a ton of it to be able to unlock the ability to do that. And this game is not the game mode that just goes PvP, ranked PvP. This is the game mode that if you have a certain number of light leveled up, it tells you is open to only the worthy. And the object of the game is not to win a game or two or to beat someone else.
Now
it is to win consecutively 9 times.
It's 7. So, the way the scorecards are set up is that you can get 7 wins and 3 losses. Now, if you win consecutively 7 times without a loss, you get to go to something called the Lighthouse. And the Lighthouse is this fancy little area where a Russian man in a silver suit of armor gives you a really fancy high-leveled weapon or armor piece that week. And then the rest of your armor pieces from this event glows in order to show, hey, you did the thing, good job. But going through the passage, you also have, at 3 wins, you get, a weapon or an armor piece. At 5, at etc., etc. And if you ever get a loss, you are locked out of going to the Lighthouse on that passage, but you can continue going and possibly get the other rewards. And what people have done a couple weeks ago was there's a certain emblem in the game called the Hake something emblem. And it was this shitty brown, gray, and orange emblem that you got when you were level 3. So nobody used it, it looks like a doo-doo, and it's awful. But what you do is when you matched into a game with another group, and you were both wearing the Hake emblem, you then messaged each other on Steam, and then you flipped a coin on Steam, and if someone got heads, then that meant because Trials introduced a way where, if someone got disconnected, they could rejoin. Well, if they got heads, 2 of the players would leave the game, rejoin with their characters they were winning on. Same thing for the last person. And then the other team would leave and join back with the characters they were going to lose on, and then immediately leave the game in its entirety. So the other team who got tails took a loss on their card, but the other team that got heads got a win on their card. So essentially, this is a very complicated way of saying they figured out how to win
They
trade.
were fixing the game.
They fixed the game, and so Trials for many years has had an issue with Cheetos, with people hacking in general. And that's taken multiple years for them to attempt to solve and fix.
Not just the ranked mode. It is the ranked mode in the game where all you do is grind more shit that gives you the bestest shit, but only if you win 7 times in a row with no issues.
Yes. So, in this game mode that is essentially be perfection or you're dead, there's all these hackers, there's all these people cheating and getting these rewards. And this has been going on for a while, and they've been trying to do their best to get rid of them. And it's been a while, and they don't want to completely lock out the entire game mode for people who want to enjoy the game, and people who aren't hacking. You want to keep it around for those who enjoy it. But the moment people win trade, fuck you, we are banning Trials so far for 3 weeks in a row. Because they cannot figure out how to fix win trading. So, any thoughts on this, Troy?
Honestly, I think you just accept win trading at that point. That's not even hacking. That's just quid pro quo. They're just like, hey, bro, what if we just, come on, give me the win here. Yeah, let's flip a coin for it. Fair enough. See ya. Have a good day.
Have a good day. See ya. Deuces.
That's the problem. That's the problem with all these games that are built so grindy. That's why Korean MMOs just let you pay to grind for you in-game. If you make a thing where the actual act of getting the object is incredibly painfully annoying, there will be a market for getting the object without grinding it.
I mean, that's the reason why recovery websites exist for Destiny 2, where you pay an individual and he will go out and he will grind and he will get a item for you that is normally reserved for higher level play.
Yeah. And then there's like, I know that's also a big. It's not. I think it's a bigger market in WoW than even in like. I think it's probably equivalent in WoW and Destiny.
I mean, you've always got the classic, I'll pay you $50 for a RuneScape girlfriend.
That's not grinding something in game. That's grinding something in the soul.
That's grinding a soul.
But no, like WoW has a lot of options. WoW is like, I'll get you this title. I'll measure this area out for you so you can finally fly.
Sorry about that brief intermission. Had a boomer appeal. So what were you saying, Troy?
What was I? Yeah, so I guess there's probably some background before I just spit WoW, gold, WoW.
Yes.
But World of Warcraft, if you know what that little game is.
Yes, I
created
know.
by Blizzard Entertainment.
The China company, yes.
Yes, we like China. We hate democracy. Blizzard. But I think there's always been the joke of Chinese gold farmers throughout that entire thing.
Oh yeah, is it WoW gold worth more than like the actual Chinese currency at this point?
It's probably worth more than yen in most cases, because the going rate for a token, and a token is I think $20 or $15. I think it depends on who buys it. I think it's worth 15 for whoever buys it with gold, but it costs 20 to put it on the market.
Mm.
But if we go by, if it's like 100k gold for $15, more or less. That was the rate it was at before, but it fluctuates with the economy.
Mm-hmm.
WoW gold is transferable to straight dollars. You look up how much a WoW token is. Alright, let me see. WoW token prices. Price and history tracker. Right now, it went up. It is 135,000 gold.
So you get more WoW gold for your real world dollars.
Oh, good God. In China, it's 350,000 gold. China's got too much fucking gold.
They have too many gems and crystals.
All I'm hearing is that the U.S. just doesn't grind as hard as every other nation in the world.
No.
Taiwan, it's 263.
Look, China does... It's built differently.
China doesn't have access to consoles. All they've got are PCs and phones.
And they also don't have access...
Why Mobile Legends Bang Bang still sells.
Or is it possibly the amazing dark fantasy RPG that is known as Raid Shadow Legends?
I don't even think Raid Shadow Legends is popular. Well, I don't think it's popular in the US just to start with, but I don't think it's if you want to hit anywhere that actually has gacha games, you have to make a good gacha game, and Raid Shadow Legends is not a good gacha game.
You're talking about this as if you have experience with this game, Troy. Have you in fact played the Raid Shadow Legends?
JonTron did an ad spot for it, man. I trusted JonTron and he betrayed me.
Okay, Troy.
I installed it for 2 days, went, wow, this is just Summoner's War with a different art style and no improvements of any kind.
What is Summoner's War? What is...
So Summoner's War, it's just you just summon things, and then to level them up, you just sacrifice smaller level things. And they fight and little turn-based stuff. There's mechanics in it. It can get complicated, but it doesn't need to be. The explanation has no need to be complicated. You just summon shit, you fight other shit. We don't need layers here.
So through this whole episode, I've been trying to corner down what games you actually like to play. And so far, I have discovered that they need to be grindy, but not grindy, but also not too grindy. But also...
No, okay. The key is, these days, I don't play many grindy games. I have a personal issue with them. In my past, anything that is a grindy game, I've probably played.
Oh yes, did you become addicted to a fucking WoW clone?
I've already been over Riders of Icarus, yes. We've been over this.
God, god.
It didn't have a subscription. That was the whole point.
Oh yeah, you didn't play Fusion Fall or Wizard 101. You played Icarus.
No, that was when I was like in my like tween. When I was a kid, I did play Wizard 101. I still have like a level 50 something Myth Wizard that exists.
You see, I didn't play Wizard 101.
Who's my boy? I didn't have friends, so of course I played Myth.
You see, I didn't
summon my own friends. That's the true fantasy for kids, not needing social interaction.
You see, I didn't play Wizard 101 or Pirates 101 or anything like that. I played Fusion.
Can I say
Fall.
that the combat system in Pirate 101 is actually like legitimately good? Like it's
You played Pirate 101? Why did you play Pirate 101? Who actually played Pirate 101?
okay, so it's not. You know how Wizard 101 is like a card game?
Yeah.
Pirate 101 is like a squad-based tactics game. It has Overwatch and everything. It's
XCOM?
MMO XCOM. Yes. With like an okay written story because it's made by KingsIsle. With little worlds and everything. And there's like, it's a...
But as I was saying before, I felt the universe shake at someone legitimately playing Pirate 101. I played a game called Fusion Fall. And what Fusion Fall was all of the Cartoon Network shows circa 2011 came into one video game. And you were this one dude. And they were like, hey dude, the world is kind of sucky now. This green ooze, I can't remember what property it was from. This green ooze has replicated like Dexter in blue. Fucking blue.
I don't think it was like any property. I think it was like a really shoehorned attempt to make us care about global warming. My brain says that's what it was.
No, I don't think so.
I know that it was like competing with Toontown.
It was in fact competing with Toontown, and I never played Toontown. Let me look up Fusion Fall real quick. Let's see here. It used the Unity engine, so you know it was good.
It was ahead of its time.
Indeed. Under the control of Lord Fuge, Planet Fusion travels through the universe. He is destroying planets by devouring them, and Earth becomes the next target. To do so, he drops fusion matter that takes a warped monster-like shape of objects nearby. The goal is to prevent the enemy's plan and defeat them. This Wikipedia page sucks.
Well, yeah, I mean, Wikipedia is maintained by, like, actual professionals. They don't give a fuck about video games.
You know, so Fusion Fall was my shit. Because it was free to play until it wasn't, and then I stopped playing it because I was 7. And you got to have these like little floating versions of like Blossom from Powerpuff Girls, for a fucking blue of all these characters. I was really into Kids Next Door. Like I signed up for like the actual Kids Next Door like website where they're like supposed to send you like the seed to make your own tree house and stuff like that.
I know it was really stupid. You remember Bakugan online?
I remember Bakugan. Because you see, they
made that.
I was the kid who, my parents were divorced. So one of my parents bought me...
So you had 2 Christmases is what I'm hearing.
No joke, I had 3 Christmases. I had my father's side Christmas, my mom's side Christmas, but my mom's side Christmas split into 2 separate Christmases of his dad's side, her dad's side Christmas, and her mom's side Christmas. So it was a branching path of Christmases. So, from the...
Wait a second. If your birthday's at Christmas and you're divorced, does it cancel out?
No, at that point it multiplies.
Oh, no.
So at that point, I would have gotten 6 Christmases. So, in that hypothetical situation. So, from the mom's dad's side, I got all of these Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were from the original release back in 2002, which, looking back, those cards were worth like hundreds of dollars. And I don't know where half of them went, because, you know, I was 7. I feel so fucking dumb. And then the mom's side of Christmas got me, like, a shit ton of Bakugan. Like, I had, like, the plastic mat for the Bakugan that had, like, the little red barriers. I got the Bakugan that was 7 Bakugan that I've transformed into a mech dragon Bakugan.
Bakugan fucking Megazord.
Yes, the Bakugan Megazord. It was made out of, like, triangles and stuff. Which, by the way, for listeners who don't know what Bakugan is a toy in the mid-2000s. It was like little marbles, and you rolled them
during that, like, trading card game craze,
yeah.
So the whole idea is that instead of collecting cards that you fight people with, you collect marbles that explode into dragons. That have power numbers on them. And if your number is bigger than the other one, and they're on the same metal card, and the fancy add number works correctly, then you win.
Then you win.
But you might not win if they drop their Bakugan battle gear and they.
You see, that was the expansion. Was the Bakugan? Let me explain. So you got these little marbles and you roll it out and you've got these cards set up. And on the marble, there's one like half-centimeter square that's like this big. It's an actual magnet that has the strength of like a 50-year-old man's erection. And so you're attempting to get this small little spot to hit onto the actual magnet for the crab to go eh. And then when the crab goes eh, that means the Bakugan is actually there. Then you flip over the card when another Bakugan hits there, and then you see, okay, for the Pyrus, for the Fire Bakugan, they get 50 bonus power. For the Darkest Bakugan, the edgy Bakugan, they get 100 bonus power points. Then you add the power points together. And then if you're playing later editions of Bakugan, like this is a fucking card game, because it was, you got to possibly, if you had a Bakugan from that generation, because there were generational differences between these marbles, you could add a Bakugear onto it, which is you had these like literal cannons that you shoved onto 2 tiny pegs onto the Bakugan through an added bonus power. And so you essentially became an escalating war of these Bakugan. And then eventually, when the math was done, and you were very confused because you were, again, 7 years old, attempting to do this, whoever had higher number, you kill the other Bakugan, and then you move on. And then you take the card, and it's 3 cards or 3 dead Bakugan. You win. The other person wins because you fucking gone. Because you only have 3 Bakugan in a singular round, which nobody ever remembered because they brought their entire Tupperware container of Bakugan. And it's like, here, go this Bakugan, go this Bakugan. And like most often, people would just drop the Bakugan onto the mat and go, eh. And the crab would go,
And then at some point, it fell into obscurity as, you know, it was a 2000s toy property. But then they brought it back like 3 years ago, and the rules are entirely different.
Well, you see, the enhanced Bakugan rules, the new Bakugan rules, are instead of having the cards be on the mat, you instead have these little tiles. And these tiles you lay out, and you roll out these Bakugan, which are a little bigger. And they, of course, flare out into like a scorpion, and it goes, like, just snaps open. And then it's the same thing, where you have like Power Bakugan, Agility Bakugan, and one other type, I think like Magic Bakugan, I don't know what the fuck it is. And then that card gives like an advantage to it, and then they count the number. And then again, the same.
Dragonite casts Magic Missile.
Yes. Cast Fireball. And then, but the thing is that there's also sets of decks of cards on both sides of the Bakugan players. So they can play cards that are in their hand in order to enhance their Bakugan, because the cards are no longer on the ground. So now they're like, haha, I play Fireball. And they're like, no, I play Counterspell. And like, no, I play Counterspell. And so it continues that back and forth. And then eventually it stops, and then you move on, and then you throw it in the garbage.
Well, I mean, it looks like that's a lot of time here. I'm at 111.
I'm at 111 too, but the thing is that we gotta cut some of this out. So we're gonna go over one
We
other.
do, but we're going for like 50 minutes, right?
Ish. I want to go over one other child's property being Beyblade.
All right.
Now, Beyblade. Do you have any personal experience with Beyblade, Troy?
No. I just know that my nephew doesn't shut the fuck up about it.
Now, the year after Bakugan, I got a lot of Beyblades for my 3 Christmases.
I like that, just like a guessing board of like their darts with all of the things, their different toy products. Like, let's buy him $300 of this and $400 of this. He'll like one of these.
Yeah, basically. And so I got like the little travel stadium for the Beyblades. I got all these different Beyblades. And Beyblades are essentially tops that you have a little plastic thing that you pull out a ripcord out of, and it spins the Beyblade really, really fast. Then it falls onto this thing and it goes because it's the top. And there's a second top, and they fight. You want to know how Beyblades fight? They go tick, 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 because they're just fucking metal tops. And before they were metal tops, they were plastic tops. And then after the metal tops, they became tall metal tops, and metal tops with like extending fin blades. And then eventually, again, it fell into obscurity because the rules got really complicated for professional Beyblade tournaments, which, by the way, still exist. And so...
I remember seeing videos of the professional Beyblade tournaments, and it's like a 6-year-old and a grown man, and they're chilling.
Well, yeah,
it looks so wholesome.
Because the best Beyblade ripcord was the one that was cloth, because you could get, like, multiple, like, flings out of it. You could, like, charge it. But I digress. They brought this back again as Beyblade Burst. Now, oh my god, my speech impediment hates this. Beyblade Burst is, imagine a top, but there's a button on it, and if the other top hits the button, it explodes. So the goal of this version of
Beyblade was designed by Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
Yes, literally. Doofenshmirtz. So Doofenshmirtz Beyblades. The way you win a round of Doof is you either hit the Doof button and it goes kaboom, and it falls apart at the seams, or it stops spinning, or it gets knocked out of the arena, or it falls into one of the little holes on the arena. Is it bad that I'm sitting here realizing we were dumb as shit as kids?
I think every kid is dumb as shit as a kid. That's the whole point.
You don't have bills to pay. You don't have to worry about anything. You just play
Bills
Minecraft.
You don't have a life objective. You can just fail all of your classes with no negatives. Being a child is so easy, fucking freeloaders.
Get a job, children. They just play Minecraft, and then they play Beyblades, and use Bakugan, and also play
Yu-Gi-Oh!
And
then they added basic numbers together.
They play D&D 5e now.
They called you a fucking genius if you could add 5 and 2 without looking like an idiot.
Yeah, why does every parent think their kid's a genius? I don't understand that.
Whoa, my kid can do multiplication. He must be Albert Einstein.
Yeah, I've never understood that. But I guess that is the end of this inaugural episode.
Yes, that's an episode.
Because we didn't run out of funny gas for once. We can still exist. So
It was something.
So this is an end to this inaugural episode of the coziest Crispy Gamers Podcast.
We're gonna have to iron that out on something, but I guess.
What? I'm doing a bit here, Troy.
So we don't have to.
We're doing a bit here, Troy. But yeah. This has been your host, Glenn.
This has been Troy. I guess to finish this out, I stream on Twitch once every 4 months. If you'd like to check that out. Again, we're gonna try to put this one. We hope to get this on an actual podcast thing once we edit this into function.
Yes.
So maybe you can listen to this somewhere other than YouTube. You know, somewhere you actually go for podcasts for once.
Not everyone has YouTube Premium like me.
No one has YouTube Premium. And what's this?
But I can watch Wayne.
But so this is supposed to be the outro of the podcast. Do you think? Does that make sense? Probably get some lo-fi to put here in hindsight. Well,
I have like a little. I have a little guitar riff I normally put on the episode.
We'll find it out.
Okay,
but have a good day, y'all.
It's been nice hanging out with y'all, and yeah,
make sure you have fun. Goodbye.
Bye.